Now, how was this bird, later we know him as Garuda, how was this bird's childhood? See, when we talk about Ramayanam, we keep discussing about Rama's childhood. Rama's childhood was not a one that you could run for pages together. He used to keep listening to his parents. If parents said stand, he would stand. Sit, sit. It took many, many years for him to get married. Though both of them may not seem connected, they are connected too. So, he took a lot of time. Whereas Krishna's childhood is filled with memories. Bhagavatam gives so much information about Krishna's childhood. We have heard a lot about Rama's childhood, Krishna's childhood. But here, what Vedanta Deshika brings to us is Garuda's childhood. So he says that the seas, the hills, and the stars were the ones with which Garuda used to play. We have heard of Krishna playing with butter, Rama playing with a bow. But the baby Garuda whom Vedanta Deshika depicts neither played with butter nor with a bow and arrow. He used to play. He used to go hit the stars. Like the bowling game, he used to put the stars and the stars used to be dispelled. So it may seem like an exaggeration, but this is how beautifully he depicts. Like how many of the surfaces of the mountains used to be broken, the waters used to rise, and the stars used to move hither and thither. So he brings the beauty of Garuda in a beautiful shloka. Kshunna kshoni dharani kshubita chatura kupara timyat garunti trutyanta rasarani sthaputita vibudha sthanakani kshipeyuhu patala brahma saudhavadhi vihita mudha vartananyasmadartim brahmanda syantarale brihati khagapater arbaka kriditani. Arbakaha, the little Garuda, Kriditani, he used to play with the stars, with the waters, and with the mountains. So as Garuda grew, he understood the situation of his mother. Because his mother used to do all the household work, Vinata used to do, and Kadru, his other mother, stepmother, was very calm and cool. The slavery with which Vinata was succumbed to extended to her children as well. One child went as a charioteer of Surya. The other one, Garuda, had to bear the brunt of all these snakes. So the snakes would say, I have to sit on your back, take me to another island. All this is mentioned in Mahabharata at the start. So Garuda was tired of doing all this work for the sons of Kadru. So at one point in time, he asked, what is that one way? Please tell me the way where I can rescue my dear mother Vinata from slavery. That is when Kadru said, if you manage to get the big pot of amritam, ambrosia, nectar, whichever way you call, from Indralokam, Indrapatnam, then probably I can think about excusing you and your mother from this bond of slavery. Garuda thought it's a great task. I will take this task upon me and I shall manage to fulfill this particular task. Now, as he takes leave of his mother, he says, Mother Vinata, I'm going to leave this place. I will go in search of amritam. Bring that amritam back. From then on, you don't have to wash at all. You don't have to worry at all. I as a son shall do this to you. Whatever I have spoken till now is there in Adi Parva of Mahabharata. Cut. Let me now do an Upanyasaka's job. I'll take you to another topic. In Srimad Ramayanam. In Srimad Ramayanam, there is a situation where Rama comes and informs his mother Kaushalya. Mother, I've been ordained to go to the forest. I have to go for 14 years. So I take leave. Mother got very upset. She said, no, I can't let my dear son go like this. Have I been waiting for 17 years to see my son suffer? What she meant by 7, because Rama had completed 24 years and was turning 25. But why does she say 17? She counts the day of his Upanayanam as day one. So he was 7. 7 plus 17 gives you that number, whatever we desire. So she says, for 17 years have I been waiting to see my son not take the Rajyam from his father and rather go spend and toil in the woods. She says, I can't let my son go. That is when Rama tries convincing, giving her, citing various references, telling that it is the duty of a son to listen to what the father has said. She said, I can't help. At that point in time, Lakshmana comes and says, I have a solution for this. I can go behead Kaikeyi. That is when Rama says, this is not a part of our civilization. So don't do this at all. She is a mother to you as much as she is to me. I have to listen to what the father has said. In that case, Sita comes and says, what should I be doing, Rama? Rama says, see, the command that I have got is to go to the forest for 14 years. I'm sure, Sita, you're my biggest companion. But here, I tell you, please stay back in Ayodhya. The world is very small. Technology will help us build bridges. Let's stay in touch and move on. And as he said, Sita said, where are you keeping me? In Ayodhya with your mother? And I don't have a mother-in-law, I have mothers-in-law. And all of them are suffering from good health. I don't see the need to invite any priest in the nearest future. So I am not going to stay with her or them, I'm going to come with you. Then Rama says, well, if you're planning to come with me, it looks as if you're well prepared about this decision. She says, yes, I was married to you while I was 6. And while I was 6, I've heard a person who used to cite prophecies in Janakapatnam in Mithila state, Janaka, your daughter Sita will be spending many, many years in the forest. The day I heard this prophecy and the day I heard a foreteller look at my palmistry and tell that I'm going to spend many, many days in the forest, I kept my luggage packed. It was all said, see there. So Rama tried arguing with her. As usual, he couldn't win against Sita. He said, okay, join me. This situation where Sita and Rama managed to come out of the chamber is used effectively by Lakshmana, who prostrates at the couple's feet and says, Mata and Rama, I'm sure you will need help in the forest. Aham sarvam karishyami jagrataha svapataschate. I shall do all the household duties that a person is supposed to do. Sita, you can take absolute rest in the forest. It will be a resort-like life, hopefully, throughout the duration. He used the word hopefully because the 14th year was a disaster. And the movie that is made on it is a bigger one. So she said, well, Lakshmana wants to come, let him come. Now, as the three, Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, they visit Kaushalya's chamber. And they say, Mata, we have to go now. We have to leave. That time, Kaushalya cites one shlokam. This shlokam comes in Ramayanam. Remember, I told you from the Mahabharatam narration that I was giving some time back, I said I'm going to divert myself to Ramayanam. Here is the verse. Yanmangalam suparnasya vinata akalpayat pura amritam prarthayanasya tatte bhavatu mangalam. The mother says, my dear son, you are going to the forest. Like how to relieve the mother from the clutches of slavery, Garuda, Vainateya, Suparna sought his mother's permission and said, I am leaving this place. And at that point in time, Vinata said, my dear son, I bless you. Similarly, I am telling you, my son, when you're leaving to the forest, I am blessing you like how Vinata blessed her son Garuda. Remember, this shlokam comes in the Ramayanam. She says, Yanmangalam suparnasya. Mangalam is the important word here. She says, those verses which were cited and recited by Vinata to Garuda, I am reciting those verses to you now. You're getting that line. But what are those verses? We don't know. That is found in the Adi Parva of Mahabharatam. Now let's come back to Mahabharatam. Garuda goes and tells his mother, I have to go get that Amritam. That time Vinata tells, Pakshaute Marutaf Patu, Chandra Suryaucha Prishtataha, Shirascha Patu Vanhiste. She recites these lines. Aham tache sadaputra putrakaryartha siddhaye. May you be successful, my son. May your wings be protected by Agni. May your tail be protected by Vayu. May your body be protected by Indra. Let all these deities give you an armor, a kavacham, while you are on your sojourn to get the Amritam. So the verses recited by Vinata as an armor, a kavacham, a protection, a shield, a what is a protective charm to her son is seen in Mahabharatam, and the reference to that is seen in Ramayanam. So this is how Ramayanam and Mahabharatam are interlinked. Now Garuda leaves that place. As he leaves, he asks his father. See, Vibhavavataram Garuda is 100% non-vegetarian Garuda. Garuda in Vibhavavataram, in Archavataram, in the temple, he is absolutely vegetarian. He consumes puliyodare, curd rice, vadai, all this Archavataram Garuda will consume. Vibhavavataram, when he was there as a real bird, he is 100% non-vegetarian. So he went and asked his father, Father, I am extremely hungry. Where should I go seek food? The father said, as you take your journey to Amaravati, the place where Indra resides and supposedly where Amritam is, you shall see a lake, and by the banks of the lake there will be two things fighting with each other. One is a tortoise, the other is a baby elephant. Both of them in their previous janmas were two brothers called Supratika and Vibhavasu. So they had a quarrel over property fight. So each of them cursed each other. One said, you shall become a tortoise. The other one said, you shall become the elephant. And the beauty is, those brothers who cursed each other were born in the same neighborhood. That's a bigger curse. And they continued fighting. So if people are fighting, it doesn't mean it is just of this janma. Maybe people have been fighting over janmas. So Garuda says, okay, what should I do with them? If they continue fighting, they are a big menace to the flora and the fauna. Consume them. The father says, eat them up. So Garuda says, see, now my father himself has said that I shouldn't be sparing the life of the tortoise and the elephant, so I shall go. So this consumption of Garuda, holding the elephant, remember, if he has to hold the elephant and the tortoise, what must be the size of Garuda? He has to hold the elephant and the tortoise. And as he held them, the tortoise and the elephant continued fighting even while they were held. Don't forget that. So they were still fighting. They were not cognizant that somebody was catching them with their claws. So as they were being carried, Garuda thought, let me take some rest. As he rested in one of those large banyan trees, I'm sure close to Bangalore there's something called big banyan tree. There's a huge banyan tree in Kolkata. There's a banyan tree that you find in the Theosophical Society, one in Kalakshetra campus, huge ones. So in one of the branches of the banyan tree, Garuda happens to go and sit. The rishis then say, the rishis who were performing penance by holding the branch upside down. The branch was there. They were upside down and performing yoga and penance. That is called Valakilyasana. Remember, even today, if you do that kind of posture, it is called Valakilyasana. Now that we are very close to the yoga day, we should know there is an asana called Valakilyasana. These rishis, very, very small in size, who were hanging from the branch of the banyan tree, who were inversed and were performing this asana, were called Valakilyas. So these Valakilyas, many number, they were spread on the branch of the banyan tree and they were performing the penance. Now when Garuda by mistake went and sat on that branch, the branch broke with the Valakilyas. Valakilyas were not perturbed at all. They said, We have to accept death the way it is. But Garuda thought, I shouldn't be hurting them. So Garuda held the branch in his mouth so that he can protect the Valakilyas from falling onto the bhumi. And then he held the tortoise and the elephant. Where is this found? This is found on one of the walls of the Tirukkurungudi temple south of Tirunelveli. If you go near the Gopuram, atop it is this depiction. See, the sculptors and the supervisor of the sculptors had to, in those days, necessarily undergo good training in our itihasas and puranas. They could not just come up with anything and then say, I thought this is a very good design. They will have to come up with justifiable, very, very reliable, relatable, comprehensible references of our Puranas and then depict them on the wall. So if you see Garuda, Garuda holds the branch of the tree, and can you see the inverted Maharishis, their heads here? These are the Valakilyas. Now for you, Mindful Insights Mani has put this on a 20 feet by 10 feet screen. This sculpture in that wall of the Gopuram is barely a few inches. So this has been expanded. So if you ask me that the resolution could have been better, I wish I had the address of the sculptor. Now, this is the same depiction of Garuda holding the tortoise and the elephant and the branch and the Valakilyas. And trust me, where this comes from? This is a depiction from the Persian version of the Mahabharata. So in Iran is this depiction of what Valakilyas were. Now, all this that I have cited from the Mahabharata comes in the form of a beautiful verse by a person whom I have loved and revered throughout my life and will continue falling in love with. His name is Vedanta Deshika. He says, Sandra Krodhanubandhat Sarasi Nakha Muke Padape Gandashaile Tundagre Kantharandre Tadanucha Jatare Nirvishesham Yuyutsu Avyad Asmad Abhavyad Vidita Nakhara Shreni Damshtrabhigatau Jivagraham Grihitva Kamata Karatino Bhakshayan Pakshimallaha. Bhakshayan, he ate. Who? Pakshimallaha, the strongest of the birds. What did he eat? Grihitva Kamata Karatino. He ate the tortoise and the elephant. Now what did he do after that? Big question.